Hello everyone, it was lovely to see you today as part of the kick-off meeting for the Healthy Westmeath 2025 projects. So as we mentioned in the meeting, I've created just a quick summary video here of in this case, it's the M1 tool. So this is the tool that's used for any project where it's aligned with the outcome indicator to improve physical activity levels for children or adults in Westmeath. So this is the questionnaire. It's one page, so it should be used at the start of all of your projects and again at the end of all of your projects so that we can determine the impact of it. Sorry, if there are any tutors here that are working with an organisation and I haven't actually met you before, I'm Dr. Diane Cooper. I'm a clinical exercise physiologist and a health researcher, and I'm brought in for 2024 and 2025 to evaluate the impact of these projects. So this is your M1 tool. It at the top explains, this is for adults, you can see adults underlined at the top there. It explains what it is and why we're using it, in that it's a requirement from the funders. Then it moves through to name or ID of the person. And again, as per the MHI5 questionnaire video that I just did, you can absolutely, the participant can write their name. If they don't want to write their name, they can use a nickname, a code, a number. It makes absolutely no difference to me. It's easier from a GDPR perspective if they don't write their names, but they tend to not mind writing their names on this particular questionnaire because it's only asking about their physical activity levels, versus of course the MHI5 is looking at indicators of mental health, which is different, completely different. So whatever they use at the start, name or ID or number or whatever it is, they need to use the exact same at the end of your program, or else the data is useless. Okay, so if they decide they're going to use a code or a nickname, you need to make sure that you write that down on your master sheet, so that when it comes to the end of the program, if someone says to you, oh, I can't remember what I put, you'll need to know the answer to that. So name or ID. Then, of course, just to take gender, male, female, prefer not to say. This is just so that in the evaluation report we can describe the population you're working with a little better, so that we can tell Pobble whether or not you're working with the target group that was intended. The project name and the location, please, particularly for projects who are being delivered in multiple locations, so that we can look at the impact in each location and then overall. Then, of course, on the right hand side, the age, the date, so today's date, the date it's being completed, and then underneath you can see a box for, is this the pre-testing questionnaire or is it the post-testing questionnaire? Pre being before the program, post being at the end of the program. Okay, if they get mixed up there or they forget to tick the box, the fact that they've written the date up above will help us, because we can then determine which it was. Was it at the start or end of your program? So moving down through the questionnaire, the first question there is actually the M1. So in the past 7 days, on how many days have you done a total of 30 minutes or more of physical activity, which was enough to raise your breathing rate? That's a total of 30 minutes. So it can be made up in 5-minute bouts throughout the day, or 10-minute bouts, or two 15-minute bouts. It doesn't matter, as long as it totals 30. So how many times have you done 30 minutes or more of physical activity that was enough to raise your breathing rate in the past week? And then if you look over, you have responses ranging from 0 to 7. So no days, or 1 day, or 5 days, or 7 days, whatever it is. So they can tick it, circle it, mark an X, do what they like, as long as we know how many days it is. And it's important that you tell them it doesn't matter if it's 0. So they don't need to be under pressure to think, oh my God, it's terrible if I say 0. It's not. And in fact, when they come back to the post program questionnaire and they're now saying 2 or 3 days, that's wonderful. From 0, that has massive health implications for a person. So just to be truthful and honest, and you're going to explain that to them, not to feel under pressure, and just mark it exactly as it is. But importantly, so it can include sport, exercise, brisk walking or cycling, recreationally to get to and from places, but it cannot include things like housework or things that you do as part of your normal daily life or daily work. Okay, so that's the M1 questionnaire. That is what Pobble, the funders, need. Okay, underneath there's a couple of questions from Healthy Westmeath that we also need, please. So on average, how many minutes did you spend being physically active on those days? So the person will know on average, like, am I normally hitting, 30 minutes on average, or is it closer to 60 minutes? Or so it's going to give us some indication of where they are in terms of minutes of exercise per day. Underneath, how would you rate your physical activity levels between 1 and 5, 1 being little or no exercise and 5 being very active? So in the M1, if they tick 0, they're not doing any physical activity, well then obviously, they'll be ticking 1 here, so little or no exercise. So this would be very reflective of the M1, and of course, as the activity levels improve, the score here will improve as well. If this is a pre-program questionnaire, do you feel your physical activity levels could improve? And if yes, please tell us why. In the post-program version of this questionnaire, it's, do you feel your physical activity levels have improved? And if yes, why? Generally, it'll be because of your program, which is wonderful. So you've given them an opportunity to increase their physical activity. But this stuff is all important for some of the feedback that Healthy Westmeaths need as well when reporting to Pobal. So that is the end of the questionnaire. It's 1 page. I don't need to make a separate video for the kids because it's the very same, except the M1 kid, the physical activity recommendations for kids is 60 minutes. So it's double that of adults. So the only difference on the children's form is that it'll be asking how many days of the week have they done 60 minutes or more of physical activity. And as always, if you have any questions, you have my contact details and I would be very happy to help. So the very best of luck, and I look forward to talking to you soon about your project.